A little bit better since we got that profit warning from Walmart about 3 weeks ago. What happened? What changed at the end of the quarter?
First of all, thanks for making the trip to Bentonville. It's great to see you. Yeah, we're making progress. As we shared after our first quarter results, we had too much inventory. We had it in the wrong places in some instances. And over the last few weeks and months, the team's done a great job of taking action and getting ourselves to a stronger position.
Don't you still have too much inventory, up 26%?
We do, but the excess inventory that we wish would go away magically today is just about 1.5 billion of the Walmart US number. I think it's important to remember just how much of a challenge we had being in stock a year ago. For 2 years now, because of all the things that happened related to the pandemic, we've been chasing inventory. About 2/3 of what we sell in the U.S. is made or grown in the U.S. The other third is imported. And in both instances, whether it's domestic or it's imported, we were chasing it. So part of the inventory increase is just to recover and have our side counters be in stock and have the right amount of inventory for the seasons. Then you've got inflation on top of that, and then what's left would be excess. And apparel in particular is where we're still a bit heavy. We've made more progress in the seasonal hardlines categories. We got back to school set well. We're ready to go for Halloween and all the seasons that are coming after that. So a lot of progress.
So your quarter ended July 29th. We're 2 weeks into August. How's it going so far this quarter?
Back to school's been good, and I think back to college is going to be good. And normally when back to school is good, we see the other seasons perform well too. It's a conflicting period in terms of the data. If you look at what's happening across categories and across income levels, inflation is having an impact, particularly for those that don't have as much money. So we see them behaving in different ways, but we're also attracting a lot of new customers to come to our stores, to our app, to our website. Higher income families are shopping at Walmart because they're so price sensitive right now. We shared earlier this morning that families making more than $100,000 in household income have driven a lot of our growth during this last quarter. Also, the end of the month, end of the quarter performance was stronger than what we had seen in the first 2 months of the quarter. So there's some things that are happening that are really encouraging. If I take apparel, for example, there are some places where we're still working to sell through clearance at really low price points, but we have some categories like men's flannel that are selling really well, even though it's hot, because it's new and it's a good value and the product is great. So again, conflicting information. It's kind of true that everything is happening at the same time.
So then how would you categorize the U.S. consumer if you're saying higher income families are shopping at Walmart too? Does that mean the consumer is weak?
I think people are really price focused right now, regardless of income level. And the longer this lasts, the more that's going to be the case. Right around the middle of the first quarter is when we saw food inflation reach a level where behavior is starting to change. Food inflation in the U.S. started ticking up the fourth quarter of last year, and we thought that it would come up a bit more gradually and take more time, but it went up fairly quickly. And it went up more than what we expected it to go up. And then kind of middle of March, it got to a level where people making less than $50,000 household income started behaving differently, and then to the $75,000 level, and then to the $100,000 level. So, food inflation being mid double digits is a challenge. People have got to pay for back to school, and a lot of people wanted to take a vacation. So they're prioritizing their spending. And at the bottom of the list, starting at the end of the first quarter, was the apparel category because they were spending money on other things. And that wasn't a total surprise, but the speed with which all that happened was faster than we expected.
I'd like to talk a little bit about inflation and Walmart pricing. Walmart is everyday low price because you're everyday low cost. But if your costs go up, then obviously the prices you charge consumers have to go up at least somewhat. Are you keeping pace with inflation in every category? Are you keeping prices low to make sure you're undercutting competition? How are you figuring out pricing?
Yeah, we're trying to keep prices as low as we can and still deliver for shareholders. We've got to balance both of those interests. And our purpose is to save people money and help them live better. That's what we want to do. We try to do that through margin mix and being very strategic about how we price an opening price point versus something that's kind of good, better, or best in the category. And in our case, we've had to reset. So our cost of goods went up, and we were pricing even in the first quarter to manage that. But below the gross margin line, our transportation costs and other storage costs went up. And so you have to then adjust to that over time as well. As we've done that, our price gaps have maintained. We're the price leader We're comfortable with where our price gaps are, and that's important to us, but we want to deliver that and at the same time deliver the profitability that shareholders are expecting. So that's what we're obviously trying to do.
Are you seeing inflation peak anywhere overall or in certain categories?
I wish I could call a peak for you in food. We'll have to wait and see. We've seen food inflation be persistent and continue to tick up, mid double digits as we've expressed. General merchandise is a little better. The ports are clear. The transportation issues that we were also focused on a while back have cleared up as time has gone on. So we have a different set of challenges looking ahead than we've had in the last 6 months.
And that's exactly what I was going to ask you next. You talked about on the call that your supply chain costs have come down. Is that because things are normalizing? Have any issues been permanently fixed?
I think wage inflation is going to be with us forever. So all the employers, including here at Walmart, we've raised our wages, which we're happy to do. But that creates a new level at which pricing has to be adjusted to reflect. So I think there's some level of inflation that's going to be with us basically forever. Hopefully we'll see food inflation in particular improve as we go through next year.
Do you think that your wages for your employees at the lowest level are high enough to keep pace with inflation? You're still well below some of the competitors starting hourly wage.
We keep adjusting market by market. The averages have come up. We've restructured and changed some jobs, and that gives us an opportunity to invest more in wages as well as in benefits. So we're in pretty good shape as it relates to that.
I'd love to talk a little bit about what you're offering with e-commerce, Walmart Plus. You haven't said much about Walmart Plus, even though it's been in place now for almost about 2 years, I believe, here come in the fall. Consumer Intelligence Research Partners estimates you have about 11 million members. I don't know if you want to comment on that or not, but they say they think it's plateaued. Is that why you had to add in the Paramount Plus as a streaming benefit to attract or retain members to Walmart Plus?
Yeah, well, Walmart Plus is important to us, but one of the reasons that we don't emphasize it too much is because we don't want to be judged by one metric. We have so many ways to evaluate our business, and our total sales line, our GMV growth, all these other aspects and metrics matter too. But Walmart Plus is strategic to us, and we want more Walmart Plus members. The primary offer there is food delivery. As we learn to do grocery pick from stores for pickup, which is still growing at a really nice clip and is an important part of our business, that unlocks the ability to do delivery. And as we were discussing before we came on air, it includes delivery all the way into the home in some cases, which is a really exciting service that we have. So adding Paramount Plus is just part of an ongoing plan to continue strengthening Walmart Plus so that more and more people want to be members.
Walmart's U.S. net e-commerce did re-accelerate, growth rate at 12% year over year. In the last 2 quarters was just 1%. Do you need a new Mark Lowry to really jazz up the next level of e-commerce?
Mark did a great job, but we've kind of all become e-commerce retailers. Our business is an omni-channel business, and our leaders and throughout the company, including in our merchandising team, now think about first-party inventory ownership and merchandising in stores, as well as what we do for pickup and delivery from stores, and our marketplace. Our marketplace is growing quickly, and the fact that we've got more and more available. In Walmart US, we have over 180 million items now that are available on Walmart.com, enables us to grow the top line, grow GMV, and also grow a digital advertising business and other fulfillment services business, things that go along with that. Marketplace business and e-commerce business that enables us to have a lot more growth in the future. So all these pieces fit together in a way that creates a different business model for Walmart going forward. You can see it in the numbers today as things are starting to scale. You know, we've got an advertising business globally now that's over $2 billion. Our e-commerce business for last year, our digital business was over $73 billion globally. So around the world, these pieces of the puzzle are being put together in Mexico, in India to an extent, here in the US, and we're really excited about what that emerging Walmart looks like.
That new advertising business is going very well, up 30% year over year. I know it's newer and part of the flywheel. It contributes a nice amount of profitability. Are you not seeing a slowdown in advertising like some of the big online tech players are reporting?
We're underdeveloped, and we have a unique proposition. I mean, we can do a better job than just about anybody of helping an advertiser know if a transaction happens later in a store. So, you know, having the digital advertising capability as we would with our app and our website is part of the equation, but being able to share data related to how transactions may have followed on from that ad is also a unique position for us.
I want to go back and think about the rest of the year because we're sitting here in August. Obviously, some back-to-school spending has already begun. You've talked about more in supplies than apparel, but you still got holiday, which is obviously very huge, very important for all of retail. If consumers in all income brackets are being discerning with their spending, what does that tell you about holiday?
I'm optimistic about holiday. I do think we'll feel some of the impacts that we've already felt in the second quarter. So we're being thoughtful about how many televisions we have, how much we invest in toys and other categories. But people are going to celebrate Christmas. They're going to celebrate New Year's. There'll be a great Thanksgiving meal. And we're positioned to take advantage of that. The Thanksgiving pricing for food, for example, in Walmart is going to be strong. The merchants are really focused on opening price points, protecting value for families that are most price sensitive, but also have a lot of new items in food and general merchandise that I think will attract spending from all kinds of income levels.
The Inflation Reduction Act is expected to be signed into law today, and there is a 1% tax on buybacks. Will that change your share repurchase strategy?
We'll see. I mean, that's not passed yet. We haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it. I personally wouldn't recommend that policies be put in place that inhibit the free flow of capital. Money's not sitting still anywhere, it's moving somewhere. And companies and investors and those that are more wealthy are redeploying capital all the time, creating job growth. And so that particular tactic doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But there are other things that are included in that potential legislation, including the climate actions that we're pleased to see. I mean, I think more incentives for renewable energy would be good for this country and good for our business and help us achieve some of the goals we have as a company.
We touched a little bit on employee wages here. And as we wrap up, I know Walmart's done an awful lot to add benefits for employees of all levels of the company. We just saw the Supreme Court overturn Roe v. Wade. What does that mean for Walmart's workers when it comes to their reproductive health care? Obviously, you're based here in Arkansas, a very conservative state, but you're the country's largest employer.
Yeah, obviously a very important issue for everybody, for our customers, for the country, and for our own associates. It matters to us specifically as it relates to our health care plan. We have an open enrollment period that starts in October. We may make some enhancements public before then, but at least by then we'll talk about any policy changes that we want to make. Definitely sensitive to the issue, and I've spent a lot of time listening to people and how they feel about it.
Great. Doug McMillon, thank you so much for joining us here. Thanks for inviting us down to your hometown
Appreciate you
in
being here.
Bentonville, Arkansas. It's great we were able to cover so much ground. Melissa, I'm going to send it back to you at the New York Stock Exchange.